All right, let's talk about what makes an AI agent truly smart. We're going beyond just following simple instructions. We're diving into a concept called routing. And honestly, it's the secret sauce that turns a basic bot into a dynamic decision maker. This is a big one, so let's get right into it. You know that feeling, right? You're talking to a chatbot and it feels like it's completely on rails. You ask it something just a little bit out of the ordinary and poof, it just breaks. That frustrating rigidity, well, that's exactly the problem we're going to solve today. So where does that stiffness come from? We can call it the one-track mind problem. It's what happens when an AI can only think in a straight line. Step 1, then step 2, then step 3, no exceptions. That kind of linear workflow just doesn't cut it for complex real-world tasks. And this, right here, shows you exactly what I mean. Without the power to make a choice, an agent is just trapped. It takes your input, forces it down this one single unchangeable pipe, and spits out whatever comes out the other end. If your request doesn't fit that mold perfectly, game over. The whole thing fails. It's not smart. It's just, well, a dumb machine. Okay, so how do we break the agent out of this trap? The answer is something called routing. And the best way to think about it is like an air traffic control tower for the AI. Instead of every plane trying to land on the same runway, the router looks at the incoming request and says, okay, you need to go over here. It gives the agent the incredible power to choose. So let's put a slightly more technical definition on it. Routing is basically a way to build conditional logic, simple if this, then that rules, right into the agent's brain. This means it can actually pause, look at what you've asked, and then intelligently pick the best tool or path out of many different options. It's the leap from a one-way street to a full-blown highway interchange. And this comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got that rigid, brittle system we talked about. It's a one-trick pony. But on the right, that's the world with routing. It's flexible, it's adaptive, it can juggle all sorts of different tasks, because it isn't just mindlessly following a script anymore. It's actually making a choice. Okay, which of course leads to the big question. How in the world does the agent make that choice? I mean, it's not magic, right? Nope. There are very specific methods that developers use to give agents this power. So let's break down the main ways they pull it off. It really boils down to 4 main approaches for building this routing logic. And you'll see that each one comes with its own set of trade-offs. You're usually balancing things like speed, how complex it is, and how flexible you need it to be. All right, this table lays it all out. First up, you can use the LLM itself to figure out what the user wants. This is awesome for really complex, nuanced requests. Then there's embedding-based routing, which is all about understanding the meaning behind the words, not just the words themselves. If you just need raw speed, you can go old school with simple rule-based logic. If you see this keyword, go here. And finally, for super specialized tasks where you need top-notch accuracy, you can even train a custom machine learning model just to be the router. So I know this can sound a little abstract, but here's the cool part. You have absolutely interacted with routing systems, probably dozens of times, without even realizing it. This tech is already running behind the scenes in a ton of stuff we use every single day. Think about it. That customer support bot that figures out if you need sales or tech support? That's routing. Your virtual assistant knowing you want to set a timer, not play a song? Yep, that's routing too. It's the magic behind sorting emails and support tickets. And it's even what helps AI coding assistants know if you're trying to debug some Python or translate a snippet of JavaScript. Okay, so if you're a developer thinking, I want to build this, how do you actually do it? Well, the good news is you don't have to start from scratch. There are some amazing frameworks out there. We're going to check out 2 of the big ones, LangGraph and Google's ADK. They both get the job done, but, and this is important, they have totally different ways of thinking about the problem. And understanding this difference is really key. With LangGraph, you are the architect. You are literally building the flowchart. You define the steps, those are the nodes, and you define the rules for how to get from one step to the next. Those are the edges. It's very explicit. Google's ADK, on the other hand, is more about delegation. You just define a bunch of specialized tools or sub-agents, and the framework's autoflow feature does the heavy lifting, figuring out which tool to send the request to all on its own. If we peek under the hood of a LangGraph implementation, the absolute hero component is something called runnable branch. Just think of it as the traffic cop. One part of your agent makes a decision, like this is a booking request. And then runnable branch is the component that actually enforces that decision, waving the traffic down the correct lane to the right tool. Now, with Google ADK, the magic is a little more, well, automatic. All you really have to do is list your specialized subagents. You just tell the main agent, hey, these are your specialists, and the framework's autoflow kicks in. It reads the descriptions of each agent and automatically figures out where to send the request. It's a much higher level of abstraction. You worry less about the how and more about the what. Okay, let's zoom back out. So what's the big takeaway here? Why is getting a handle on routing so critical? It's because this isn't just a minor feature. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about building AI. It's the jump from static, lifeless tools to truly dynamic systems. So if you remember one thing, make it this. Routing is what breathes life into an agent, turning it from a simple tool into a dynamic decision maker. It's the key that unlocks the ability for a single agent to tackle a whole universe of different tasks. And we've seen you've got options, different methods for different needs, and incredible frameworks that make building this stuff more accessible than ever. And this quote really just nails it. The key phrase here is logical arbitration. That's what this is all about. Routing gives an agent the power to logically arbitrate, to actually judge and decide. And that's the foundation for building the kind of smart, context-aware AI systems we're all trying to create. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. We've seen how routing gives an agent the power of choice, picking the best option from a known list. But what comes next? What's the step that takes an agent from making a choice to having real judgment, the kind of judgment that lets it handle totally new situations it's never been trained on? I think that's the question that's going to drive the next massive leap forward in AI.